Now let's talk about sorted lists. Now a sorted list is different from just a standard list in that a sorted list stores values based on keys and values, or the items in the list are both have a key and a value. And hence the name sorted list, it automatically sorts everything in our list based on the key. And let me show you some examples here. I've got some code, and again, this code will be on your CD. You can just load the solution on your machine and open it. Visual Studio 2008, you should be good to go, and you can play with these. If not, you can watch the video and input this into your own Visual Studio and play with it. But the first thing to do with a sorted list is to create it and then load data into it. Now keep in mind, a lot of this is very similar to what you saw on just a regular list. There's just a couple little differences here. First of all, just like a list, it'll have a default size, and I need to tell it if I want it to be a certain size, and then anytime I violate or go past that size or try to store more data, it will actually go in and expand the sorted list to double whatever size it was at the time. So it'll go from 3 to 6, 6 to 12, and so forth. Now, let's start off. In my code here, you notice I have it commented up here, that we want to create a sorted list. Now notice, when we create the sorted list, we tell it the value, the data type of the key, and then the data type of the value. Now I'm going to store some data about, say, a catering company, okay? We want to know for a particular event or whatever, the number of plates, cups, forks, and spoons. And so plates here is going to be the key, and the value is going to be the number of plates we have on hand, okay, or we have dedicated to this event. So I tell it I want to create a sorted list that's going to have a string for the key and an integer for the value. The name of this sorted list is going to be ML, and then I bring it into being by creating a new instance of sorted list with those data types, string and integer, and I'm telling it to make it hold 3 items for right now, or give it a capacity of 3. Then I'm going to add items to the sorted list, and I'm going to use the add method. Now, I'm going to show you just a couple of methods and properties here. You can go out and look in the MSDN documentation and see that there are more, but I don't want to get into all of them here. I just want to kind of whet your appetite and get you going. But the reason I want to spend so much time on these various lists and so forth and arrays in this video is because a lot of programmers don't seem to use these, or they only use arrays when they do. And what you can see here is that Microsoft has built these classes for you, and they have a lot of real cool functionality that you don't have to spend your whole afternoon coding up. So we're going to add 4 items in. Notice we're going to add a key of plates and tell it that the value is 32. We'll add a key of cups, the value is 22, and so forth. Okay. Now then I'm going to do a message box and show you the count, the number of items in the sorted list. And notice I can call ML count, and since I'm trying to take an integer value and dump it into a message box and show it to you, I have to convert it to a string here. And then this in the message box just puts a title on my message box. Then I want to show you the capacity. So the count is how many items are in the sorted list. The capacity is how many places do I have there right now. And then I will just loop through, and I'll let you go through and look at this. I'm going to loop through the sorted list and show the items in a message box. And notice I'm saying for each key value pair, and I show my data types. And then I just have a variable here. I'm instantiating a variable in ML, ML being my list, right? I'm just going to keep dropping these into a string that I created right here. And I created the string empty. And I'm going to say every time you find one, I want you to write the key. Then I want you to tab over. Then I'm concatenating again. Put the value that matches that key, and then kick it down to a new line, and let's loop through again. And every time we find a new value or a new key value pair in ML, let's just keep doing this. Then when we get done, we'll just show the results. And that's what I'm going to do here. So keep in mind, we're going to create a list, add 4 items to it, look at the count, capacity, and then look at what's in the list. So notice the first thing we're going to do is when I click the button, we're going to create the sorted list. We have now added 4 items, and what you're seeing here is this message box right here, and we're showing the count. This is the items stored, and it's these 4 items, right? So I click it again, and we show this message box, and this is the capacity. It's 6. Why is it 6? We created it with 3, right? Then we added 4 to it, and when we added this 4th one, it doubled the size of it. Then we're just going to list the values in our sorted list using this loop right here. Now I want you to notice something. We put these in: plates, cups, forks, spoons. Now a regular list, everything you add just goes to the bottom. But this is a what? A sorted list. So what did it do? It sorted. Notice what it did. It sorted these based on the key. And so my key is plates, cups, forks, spoons. Notice as it's putting them in, it's sorting them in the in alphabetical order, ascending. Now, that's pretty cool. Okay, so when you need items sorted, and this is going to make for quick lookups in these things because they're in alphabetical order. And so I'll OK that, and we're through with that part of it. So now in part 2 of sorted lists, we'll go ahead and talk about a couple other pieces of functionality I think you'll find pretty interesting.